We are talking about nationality, statelessness and human rights. Then first let us try to understand that what kind of question comes. See, if you look at the topic, you will find that this topic basically contains good evening everyone, three important things. That is your nationality. Now remember, loss of nationality is basically statelessness. And then once you become a stateless person, your human right is under threat. Right? So often they ask you question with regard to nationality, statelessness and connected with human rights. Like for example, the question that was asked last year, not this year, was, last year means last to last year, right? Was कि statelessness leads to violation of human right, comment. Right? So it means very cleverly what you need to do, that you need to understand what are the major human rights treaties. I will dictate you obviously, some of them obviously I will dictate. And then you need to know what happens when a person becomes stateless. Like one of the problem of statelessness is that once you become stateless, you lose your right to participate in the economic process of that particular country. Automatically you lose it. Aadhaar card banega nahi, PAN card banega nahi, right? Then you become a person who cannot even open a bank account. Then what will happen? Your right to life is at threat. Your right to live peacefully is at threat. You cannot access the court system. Court mein complain karenge, the first thing they will ask you, who are you? You need a document identifying yourself that you do not have. So it means if you are a stateless person, then it leads to multiple consequences, and each consequences leads to violation of a human right. Right? So that question that I was talking about, that question becomes a very easy question. Case statelessness leads to first loss of this human right is violated. Statelessness leads to this human right is violated. Right? And second question that comes with regard to human right, comparing them with international humanitarian law, that is a separate topic in itself. International humanitarian law. Right? So often this is a very repeated question actually. What is the difference between HRA, human right, and IHL, that is your international humanitarian law. So we have a different topic IHL, so uska difference wahan dekhiye. समझ में आ रही बात? So it seems like very big topic, but it is actually quite connected topic. Nationality, we'll talk about what do you mean by nationality. Okay, what are the modes to acquire nationality. Then we'll talk about once you lose nationality, what happens? You become stateless. Now what are the conventions that applies to you? So there are basically two conventions. One is referred as Convention on Statelessness 1955. The name itself is that itself. Right? And the second is, the second is Refugee Convention. That is also with regard to a stateless person. Okay. Then what happens here? What is the consequence of statelessness? We will talk about it. Similarly, we will also talk about what are the causes of statelessness. Okay. Now there is a very interesting convention here. Convention with regard to married women. Now one of the causes of statelessness is that once a person gets married to another person of a different country, then the problem begins that which country is stateless, state that particular women will acquire the citizenship of. So there is a convention which says that women should be given choice, meaning she should not be forced to accept the state of that husband's, or cannot be forced to leave the state of her own. Suppose she is an Indian, like in the case of that Mirza, what's the name? In the case of Sania Mirza. Okay, so if she is an Indian, then obviously she cannot be asked to leave that particular thing. समझ में आ रही बात ये? Understood? Is एक मैं छोटी सी बता दूं, that is actually more relevant for your GS, बस यहाँ पे इसको डील कर लेते हैं. देखिए तीन वर्ड है, nationality, resident, ये अपने इसके लिए इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं, बस ध्यान रखना है. नेटिव, क्या डिफरेंस है इस तीनों में? ये तीन वर्ड अंग्रेजी में हमेशा इस्तेमाल होते हैं. नेशनलिटी, सेकेंड इज रेसिडेंट एंड थर्ड इज नेटिव. तो रेसिडेंस इज ए टेम्पररी थिंग. ओके, ठीक है. पॉलिटिकल टर्म. ओके, ठीक है. मोर और लेस आप लोग सही कह रहे हैं. नेशनलिटी इज बेसिकली अ लीगल कनेक्शन बिटवीन यू और योर कंट्री. ठीक है. इट मीन्स कि द लॉ विल एक्सटेंड टू यू. ठीक है. Second is resident, that is more of a tax concept. If you are a resident of a particular country, you are liable to pay tax. And the third is basically the historical roots. सही बताया आपने. ठीक है. Where you are native of. Okay, so more of a permanent nature. ये legal concept नहीं है, sociological concept है native. लेकिन In India, the nationality is granted on the basis of native also. If you can prove your grandfather was born in India, right, somehow, if you have a document born before 1947 in India, right, then you can be considered a citizen of India as well, right. So remember this point. Now remember, our constitution also talks about only nationality. So is the international law. They only talk about nationality. Now this can be determining factor, but they are not the only factor, right. One of the factor which can be considered but not the only factor. So मेरी बात ठीक है, चलिए.